What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I'm back to you guys with another video. This video, I'm here with my 2021 NFL draft grades. Going to be doing all 32 NFL teams, and I'm going to be doing these division by division, and I'm going to be starting out doing my draft grades for the teams in the AFC North. Before I get into it, make sure that you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. Let me tell you guys something. After the draft, from May to August is my favorite time of the NFL offseason because, listen, I'm not trying to be biased, but I feel like I upload the best offseason content on YouTube. I go in depth, team by team, breaking down positions, what to expect from new coaches, breaking down the coaching staffs, the offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, philosophy. I really go in depth on all 32 NFL teams. So if you are a fan of the NFL and you love in-depth analysis, this is the channel for you. Make sure that you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I promise you're not going to find a lot of YouTube channels out there that cover the off season the way I do. So the AFC North overall as a whole, I feel like everybody had a pretty solid draft. You had two teams in this division that blew me away. You had two teams that, they had all right drafts. Let's start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Pittsburgh Steelers selected halfback Najee Harris with their first round selection in the NFL draft, 24th overall out of Alabama. I like the pick. As a matter of fact, I've been telling Steelers fans for months that Najee Harris, if he was still on the board, was probably going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers' first selection. Now, of course, you had some people out there who felt like Steelers should have went Travis Etienne, which he ended up going to Jacksonville. Some people felt like the Steelers should have went off the line, and I understand that. But for Pittsburgh, Najee Harris is probably the closest thing to Le'Veon Bell that the Steelers are probably ever going to find again. I mean, he can line up out wide. He also is very patient when it comes to allowing holds and allowing his blocks to develop. He also is a very good pass blocker as well. In terms of who is the best overall prospect in this year's draft class, I felt like it was Najee Harris. I feel like he was the most complete halfback in this draft class. And I expect Najee Harris to have a really big rookie season. Now, the question after that was going to be, okay, you draft Najee Harris. How are you going to address the offensive line? And that kind of really concerned me because in the second round, they selected Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State University, which, okay, I have nothing wrong with taking the tight end. But I really feel like in the second round, Pittsburgh really should have took off the tackle, which is a really big need because the Steelers off the line, let me clear something up. It is not god awful like a lot of people are making it out to be. You got to remember, the backups on Pittsburgh's offensive line got injured. The starters got injured on top of that. So Pittsburgh basically had third stringers, like nearly practice squad guys starting at some point in the season last year due to injuries. So Pittsburgh has a really young offensive line, which I think is pretty solid. It's not great, but I think it is pretty solid. Now, the biggest concerns are left tackle, and you got questions at center. So the fact that you instead opt to draft a tight end in the second round, that really concerns me instead of drafting off the tackle. Because offensive tackles, great offensive tackles don't grow on trees. And I really think that offensive tackle was a really big need for Pittsburgh that I really don't understand why they would wait to the fourth round when they select the offensive tackle out of Texas A&M, Dan Moore, to address that position. Because I don't know if Dan Moore is going to be a day one caliber starter. At this time, you need guys who can start right away. And I don't really know if Dan Moore is capable of starting right away. Now, you do select the offensive guard Kendrick Green in the third round, which I really like that pick a lot. He was one of my favorite guards in this draft class. But I really don't like the fact that Pittsburgh was so negligent or had so much, opportunity to select one of the better offensive tackles in this draft class, and instead they opt to wait to the fourth round to draft the offensive tackle. But other than that, I do like the value that they got at linebacker Buddy Johnson. I think he's going to be a very good replacement for Vince Williams if he's able to start. He's not great in coverage, but he is a really good tackler. You also get edge rusher Quincy Roche out of Miami. I think he could be a solid rotational guy. I think he should win a lot higher than where he got selected in the sixth round. I think that's an absolute steal. Then you select punter out of Georgia Tech, Presley Harvin, probably one of the biggest punters I've seen in a very long time. Dude looks like he could be playing on the defensive line. He was one of the best punters in all of college football last year. The Steelers are trying to bring in, trying to get a spark there at that punting position, trying to bring some competition in there. So for the Steelers overall, I don't think their draft is bad, but I wasn't all that blown away with it. I don't like the fact that they waited to draft offensive tackle in the 4th round. I really felt like offensive tackle should have been a big priority after selecting Najee Harris. The Baltimore Ravens on the second team, I gave them a B+. I think they had a pretty solid draft as well. When you look at Baltimore, the reason why I didn't give Baltimore an A- is because also like Pittsburgh, they neglected to address the offensive line. As a matter of fact, they only selected one offensive lineman in this draft class. That was Ben Cleveland out of Georgia. And when you look at Baltimore, I think one of their biggest questions now, or even before the draft, aside from wide receiver, was how are they going to handle the trading of Orlando Brown. They're going to find his replacement. Even before the Orlando Brown trade, Baltimore still has some question marks on the offensive line. And after the draft, you have to ask yourself, if you are a Ravens fan, you got to be realistic with yourself. Is this offensive line better or the same before the NFL draft? I think it pretty much is the same. Now, you do add Ben Cleveland. Okay, you get a guy who should be able to start day one. But aside from that, you still have some position of needs on that offensive line that probably will go on field until we start training camp or whatnot. But I do like the selection of Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman, I had him mocked to go to the Baltimore Ravens for pretty much the whole entire offseason. I felt like he fits the Baltimore Ravens system perfectly. Now, he plays bigger than what he's listed as. I think he's listed as like 190 or something like that. But when you watch him play, you think he's like a 6'5", 240-pound wide receiver. He plays way bigger than what his size says on the paper. I think he's going to be a very good fit for Baltimore because Baltimore needs a wide receiver who can be a physical deep threat outside on the opposite side of Hollywood Brown, because Hollywood Brown is a Robin, not really that much of a Batman. Well, you definitely get your Batman in Rashard Bateman. I think he's going to be a really good fit for Baltimore. Then you get, edge rusher Jason Oweh out of Penn State University. I wasn't really all that high on Jason Oweh, but I do see the potential. I do see the athletic upside that he possesses. Then, you get Tywin Wallace. I love Tywin Wallace a lot. As a matter of fact, I was really surprised that he fell to the Ravens in the 4th round. So you pretty much walked away out of this draft with two potential number 1 wide receivers in Tywin Wallace and Rashad Bateman. I think those guys are going to have a really big impact in that wide receiver room for Baltimore come the start of the 2021 season. Then you select, edge rusher Dalen Haynes. You select cornerback Shaun Wade. Shaun Wade is going to be a phenomenal nickel corner or slot cornerback in the NFL, whatever you consider it. Also, on top of that, he can play a little bit of safety as well. He's not a great outside corner like we saw last year when he was playing for Ohio State, but he in 2019 was the best slot cornerback in college football. So for Baltimore, I gave them a B+. I think they had a really good draft as well. If they would have took more offensive linemen in this draft, I probably would have gave them an A-. Third team are the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, I was really critical of Cincinnati deciding to take wide receiver Jamar Chase instead of opting to take offensive tackle Penei Sewell fifth overall, But I instead gave the Cincinnati Bengals a chance. I said, when I did my first round grades for the first round of the NFL draft, make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. I wanted to give Cincinnati a C. But instead, I gave Cincinnati a B because I gave them the benefit of a doubt that they would take a wide receiver. You got Jamar Chase. Now focus on trying to protect your franchise quarterback, Joe Burrow. Well, they did that, because in the 2nd round, they take offensive tackle Jackson Carman out of Clemson. I really liked him a lot. As a matter of fact, I wanted Pittsburgh to snatch him up, but Pittsburgh decided to go, Pat Frymouth. So for Cincinnati, you get Jackson Carman, who most definitely should be able to start for you day one, either a tackle or he can play guard as well. Then in the 3rd round, you get edge rusher Joseph Ossai out of Texas. A lot of upside there. Cincinnati, adding some more rotational pieces on that defensive line. I think Cincinnati has a really better defensive line than what a lot of people give them credit for. Okay, then you select Cameron Sample. I like him a lot. Then you select defensive tackle Tyler Shelvin, which I believe Tyler Shelvin was one of the better defensive tackles in this draft class. Then after that, you get another offensive line. You get offensive tackle Deontay Smith out of ECU, which I liked him a lot. He's probably going to start as a backup, but he potentially could be groomed into a really good starting tackle at the NFL level. Then you select kicker Evan McPherson out of Florida, who pretty much was one of the best, if not the best kicker in college football during his playing days for the University of Florida. So for the Cincinnati Bengals, they had a really good draft. So I gave them an A-. So the last team that we have to talk about are the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns absolutely got a steal when they were able to get Jeremiah Owusu in the second round, because a lot of people were saying that he should have been gone in the first round. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of people out there who were saying that he was the best linebacker in this draft class. On top of that, you were able to get Greg Newsome. Now you have Denzel Ward, you have Greedy Williams, you have Greg Newsome. You have an absolutely loaded defense. Like, the Cleveland Browns going into this draft already didn't really have that many holes. Their biggest need was linebacker, and they walked out of that pretty much one of the most complete teams in the NFL. Like, you can't really go through this Cleveland Browns team and name me one glaring weakness that the Cleveland Browns have right now, okay? They have a great offensive line. They have a great group of running backs. You improve the wide receiver position because now you have some depth. That was the question. Where's the depth behind Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham? Okay, you select Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. He's probably the second best player in this, the second fastest player in this draft class at the wide receiver position behind Jalen Waddle. You got a lot of talent there. Okay, Cleveland pretty much is so stacked that they pretty much were able to go best player available. So for Cleveland, I'm giving them an A. I think they had the best draft out of all the teams in the AFC North. So let me know what you guys think about these draft grades down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video.